Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add text to your login screen for KDE Plasma, which is SDDM, and to add text to your lock screen. Specifically, I'm going to show you how to add text here underneath the date on the login screen. And this work, well, what I'm showing you is for the Breeze theme. Now, any themes that are using the Clock.qml file, it should work with, but I'm specifically doing it with the Breeze theme. So basically what I go through in this video, you can take the concepts and apply it to another theme if you're using another theme. To give some context around this, I have multiple distributions on my computer. And I actually have two distributions with KDE Plasma. I'm running Arch with KDE Plasma and KDE Neon. I typically run an Arch, but every once in a while a software regression will come through and create some frustrations for me, and so I will switch over to KDE Neon and use that until an update comes through for Arch that fixes the regression, or sometimes I'll troubleshoot it and figure something out there. But anyways, I do use both distributions. And what happens sometimes is when I've been away from my computer for a while and I come back to the login screen or the lock screen, I actually forget whether I'm in Arch or Plasma. And so I find it kind of useful to put some text on the login screen and the lock screen so that I can quickly see which distribution I'm logging into. So I've actually installed a fresh copy of KDE Neon into a virtual machine because that makes it easier for me to record the login screen with Simple Screen Recorder. So we're in a VM right now, and I'm going to log in. And this process is actually fairly simple. So what we'll do first is basically we just need to go into two clock files to add the text, and I'll show you how to do that here. So we'll open up our file manager. We'll go to our root directory. Now I'm going to open this as root, or you can actually open it as administrator. I have videos on both options. I know the KDE Neon people prefer open as administrator, but open as root just requires fewer passwords to go through the process, so I'm going to open it as root. Okay, so there are two files that are named Clock.qml that we need to modify. So the first file that we'll modify is for the lock screen. So we go into our user directory. Actually, you know what, it'll be easier just to, let me do this. I was hoping I could actually, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to type in the directories we're going to. So we're going to user, tab over, and then share, tab, Plasma, we hit tab there, look and feel, org.kde. You see why, that's why I'm using the text up there, because I can just start typing in the letters and then it'll show me what it thinks I want, and I can hit tab and jump over, so it's a lot faster to get to the directories. Okay, here we're going to go to contents, then we're going to go to components, hit enter, and this is the file that we're going to modify. So we'll open this up, and let me enlarge this, and we're going to take this right here, this section here, the second Plasma Components 3 label. We'll copy that, paste, and for the text, since I'm in KDE Neon, put in quotes put KDE Neon, and then I'll change the font size for that to 36, and then we'll save that. We'll close that. Now for the lock screen, let's go back up here. Got to go back all the way to user share. Let's delete that. Then it's SDDM themes. Now this is going to be different depending on what theme you're using. I'm using Breeze, so we'll use Breeze, and then again components. Hit enter. We go to Clock.qml, and for this, we'll do the exact same thing. Copy that, paste, and we'll change this to KDE Neon 36. We'll save that. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. Let's log out here. Go here, log out. Okay, that didn't pull it up. Let's restart and see what happens. Oh, actually, I haven't logged out all the way yet. There we go. Okay, so now I've logged out, and it lists KDE Neon under the clock. So when I come back to my system, I know where I am. The lock screen does the same thing. Let's see if we can lock this. Let's see if we can lock this. Lock. There it is, KDE Neon. Now, there is one issue that I encounter with this solution. Frequently, Breeze, the Plasma team, sends out updates to Breeze, and those updates frequently overwrite those QML files. So what I have done is I've put together a shell script that I can execute to replace those files. So let's go to my file manager. Let's go to home. I have the scripts in here. Okay, so what I've done is I have copied the lock screen clock.qml file and the SDDM clock.qml files. I copied the files over and then renamed them. And so here's the file right here. And here's the other file. And you can see I have KDE Neon. So you can basically copy those two files to whatever directory you'd like to store them in, and rename them. So when you copy one, rename it so that when you copy the other one, you're not copying over it. And then create a shell script. Now I'm going to, so let me open up the shell script. So here's the shell script that I've created so that basically at a click of a button I can replace, if the update overwrites my clock.qml files, with the click of a button I can replace them with the copies that I have saved here. So basically, for this to work, you need to install Zenity. So let's do that. Actually, I don't think I have it installed right now. So I'm on Neon, so I'll install it with the apt command. In Arch, you'll use the pacman command. Sudo apt install Zenity. Okay. So with that, basically, when I execute this script code, it will copy those files and replace the ones that have been overwritten. The key here is the directory name. So I'm copying from scripts So actually, for this to work, I'll have to move these into a folder called scripts. So the folder that I need to create is scripts, login, screen, text. So let me go back to my home screen. Let me create a new folder here. Folder, scripts, and then inside scripts, I'm going to create a folder called create new folder, and it's called login, lock screen, text. That's just so I know what it is. Okay, so what I'll do, let me put this into split mode here. Go back to my home directory. Let me go here, and then let me open that up. Let me copy these over. Oh, I closed the wrong one. Okay. So if you go with this directory structure, home, scripts, login, lock screen, text, this code should work for you. So I'll leave it up here so that you can take a picture of it, maybe even do a use your screen capture to capture that. But I'm also going to put this in the show comments if it lets me. Sometimes YouTube is a little funky about putting code into the comments, and there have been times where I've done that and it hasn't let me do that. So I don't know if this will work. If I can put this script code in the show comments, I will. If not, you can copy it. You'll just have to manually type it. Now, the important part here is this syntax here that starts with a hash mark and then the exclamation mark, or backslash bin, backslash bash. That needs to be the very first line of the script, and there needs to be no spaces before that. Otherwise, the code won't work. And then once you have that code, right-click on the file, click Properties, under Permissions, and click Is Executable. And so, when like I'll run this right now, I'll say Execute, and then it'll prompt me for my password, and it will replace the Clock.qml files. Let's see if that has actually worked. Let me log out again. Log out. It's still there, so that worked. And I can show you. I can show you this. I'll change that to. Let me open this up, just so you see that it's actually working. We'll change this to test. We'll save that. Execute the script code again. Then when we log out, it should say test. So it says test. So it definitely is working. Now, once you have that script code, to make it a little easier so you don't have to open up the file and manually launch it, we can create a menu item for that. So let's right-click on our down here next to the menu, and let's click on Edit Applications. I think a good place to put this is under Utilities. Let me enlarge this. So we'll go under Utilities, and we'll click New Item. Let's say text at login and lock screen. Click OK. And then for the program, we'll click on this button here. We'll go into scripts, go into that folder, and click that the name of that file, which I named login underscore lock screen underscore text.sh. Click open, and then let's assign an icon to it. Just because we're chasing the clock file, we'll give it a clock icon. Okay. Now let's click save. So let's close that out. So if we go to utilities, let's add that to our favorites. Okay. So now, where did it, we have so many things in these favorites. Let me remove some of these things. Oh, you know what it is? I don't have my, here's the favorites. I'm looking at I'm not used to this menu. There it is right there. Also, if you want, you can change your menu. I don't like that particular menu. I like this one better. Switch. So it's right there. So let me do this. Let me go back to my home file. I'll change this back to Neon, or KDE Neon. Let's save that. Close that. We'll execute that script file. Now let's log out. Log out. Log out. And there it is, back to KDE Neon. So I find it useful. I like to have text there. It may not matter to you. Maybe it does. But if you want to add text to your login screen, it's an easy way to do it. I'm sure there are other ways to do it. That just seemed to be an easy way for me to accomplish it and make it quick and easy. And whenever I get an update that overwrites those QML files, we have a script there that we can just with one button replace them and get the new scripts in there. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if the syntax ever changes in the future and that stops working, which you'll have to do is what you might want to do, actually, what you might want to do, well, I would say create after you update your system, before you run this script, you can always use TimeShift and create a backup of your system files with TimeShift, and that way, if for some reason the syntax has changed and the old syntax that you're using in your files no longer works, you can basically revert with TimeShift to when that update was applied, and then copy those files over to your home folder and modify those, and then go through and then hit this again. Then it'll work. You would modify them the same way, but what I'm talking about is the files changing. Here, where it says Plasma Components 3, not too long ago, it said Plasma Components 2. Now, I don't know if in the future that will change to Plasma Components 4, and you may need to have 4 there, but that way, if you revert your setup to a previous state right after you did your update, or even if you revert to a state before you did the update, and then you run the update, and then you copy those QML files back over to here, the new files, and then modify those new files, then it'll still work because you'll have whatever the updated syntax is. So I just wanted to show that. Some people might find it useful. I like to modify my Linux systems, and that's just one thing I like to modify. So perhaps maybe it's something you want to do. Anyways, again, I'll try to put that script code in the comments, the show comments below, if YouTube sometimes when I try to add code there, it won't let me save it because it has certain characters it doesn't like. But I will try. So that's all I have to present today. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Please hit the like button. Have a great day.